All right, frontal blessings. Let's make sure that's recording. Yes, it is. All right, and welcome everybody back for another video. I haven't been putting a lot up lately. As I said, it's been busy. Things will kind of get back to normal next week. So I had the time. I said, let me shoot a video. Before we begin, a couple quick announcements. Again, if you're interested in a spiritual reading or a spiritual consultation, I offer various different readings: telepathic demonic readings, Egyptian oracle readings, Santa Muerte readings, shadow work readings, which is always a great thing to do to uncover the shadow or the hidden self, to kind of see what you got going on in that subconscious mind, what's going on around you, things that are affecting of you. A great reading to do to get a good idea of what you need to be focusing on and what's needed in your ritual work. As I said before, ritual work should always be designed first and foremost based on your needs before your wants. Unfortunately, a lot of people come on this path and they focus more on their wants rather than their needs, because as I've said before, once the needs are addressed, taken care of, and put in order, I can guarantee you will start to see the wants manifest. So shadow work readings, great for those things. Deity readings I also offer to see which gods, goddesses, demons, or spirits walk with you, to further and strengthen your relationship with those deities on this path, not to worship them, but to have a better understanding about yourself and in relationship to those deities. Okay? If you're just interested in a spiritual consultation, which can be used for, as I've said many times before, most people utilize it just to ask me a bunch of questions in the whole session. Some people come with a whole list of questions, asking anything they want about the path. Some people focus on a specific thing they might got going on, or some people use it for particular areas of interest. But I just want to stress, a consultation is not a reading. They're two entirely different things. For any of the aforementioned, reach out to me. Send me an email at khnum19@gmail.com. Please include, very important, please include your full weekly availability, not just one day, the days and times you're available throughout the whole week, and the time zone you're in. This way I can tell you exactly what I have that works with both of our schedules. Okay? If you want to sign up for classes, the way to sign up for classes is go to the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, and join Tier 3. Okay? Tier 3 is going to give you access to all of the private classes I do every month on Patreon, which is 3, in addition to the group ritual that we do together at the end of the month. And again, when you join it, not only just gives you access from the day you join moving forward, it gives you access to everything in the archives going 4+ years back. You also get access to all of that class work, all of that ritual work. There's a bunch of ongoing series that I'm doing right now that are continual, with new content being added regularly. If you want to check out the full line of classes that I offer, just to name a few: Ancient Egyptian Vampiric class, Telepathic Sorcery, Luciferian Magic and Self-Mastery, Shadow Work class, Kundalini Meditation and Awakening class, Esoteric Occult Bible Study class. I mean, the list goes on and on. If you want to see a full list of classes, just log on to the Patreon page, patreon.com/Baniti. Go to the collections page, and you will see each class labeled, archived in numerical order. Now, how the classes are done: it's done via Zoom. So when you become a member, you get invites. There's links to the post where you join the classes live if you're able to. But if you can't, because I understand everybody has different schedules, lives in different time zones in different parts of the world, everything is archived and recorded, and you can watch and do the classes in your own time in accordance with your own schedule. All right, so it's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, Tier 3. Don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos social media pages: Primordial Chaos 9, all one word, on Instagram; Primordial Chaos, 2 words, on Facebook. I also upload all this new YouTube content to Facebook. And then check us out on TikTok. Primordial Chaos 3 is the handle. Primordial Chaos 3. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. And again, mark your calendars. I'll keep pumping that out. 7th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference will be the 3rd or 4th week in October here in Hollywood, Florida. More information to come on that as we navigate a little later into the year. All right. So all of the links to the social media pages, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos podcast, my contact email address to reach out to me for readings or consultations, and the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes. All of that information and those links are in the description box of this video that you're watching right now. All right, so you see the topic. I got to address this because people that are, more so not on the path, but people in general have a misconception and misunderstanding of what black magic is. Is black magic evil? Question mark. Well, it depends on what your definition of evil is. I want to dispel some of the myths of what it is kind of and what it's not. Okay? Now, on the surface, every definition you're going to get of it, if you Google it, you go on social media, most books and resources, you're going to get this definition that it's quote-unquote negative, it's evil, it's this, that, and the other. So let's clarify that, okay? First of all, everybody has their own definition and a perception of what evil is. All black magic isn't just done for destructive purposes. Okay, so let me clarify this. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a destructive aspect to black magic because destructive magic, baneful magic, and things of that nature are a part of that affiliation to a part of what black magic is. 100%. So what does it mean when someone says they're a black magician, a black adept, or they practice, quote unquote, we hear this term, the black arts or the dark arts? Okay? So some of these terminologies they're very modern and come way after when you go back to more indigenous cultures and ancient times. These are titles and terminologies that were very modern. But the problem is a lot of them got defined with negative definitions and negative connotations. Okay? So let me stress, a greater black magic working, right? Or a lesser black magic working, right? Black magic in its different forms are the higher occult or spiritual science of working a form of spirituality to enforce your will upon a situation for the desired outcome. Now, when I use the term greater and lesser black magic, depending on the magnitude of the situation and the goal, determines what methodology one is going to use. So let me simplify this so mainstream can understand. So let's just say you are a Christian or religious, or you were, or you used to be. Let's just look at, for the example or the story of Jesus. Jesus was labeled, and I'm just saying this according to the stories. When you read the stories in the Bible, Jesus was accused of being a sorcerer. He was affiliated with being a devil because the miracles, or I should say the magic that he performed, or the miracles that he carried out, because they couldn't explain it, they attributed it to this spooky devil concept that they have. When the Pharisees and the Sadducees were persecuting him, saying you're the devil because he had the power to heal. Black magic can be used for that, right? He had the power to perform miracles, right? Turn so-called, X amount of loaves of bread and fish and water and wine, turn water into wine, and etc. These are all alchemical aspects, alchemy, and magical properties or magical concepts, right? I did a video a while back, was Jesus a black magician, right? I think where people get thrown off is the term. Because you automatically hear dark and black. And this is why you got to be careful when you use those terminologies. I think people get super spooked out with it. Okay? A black magician or a black adept is one who has mastered the art or the higher science of manipulating energy. Okay? Because at the end of the day, that's what all magic is technically about. I don't care what you're labeling it. Light magic, dark magic, Wiccan, all these different terminologies that we have. At the end of the day, a black magician, a black adept, a dark sorcerer, or somebody who practices the dark arts, in essence, has mastered the techniques of manipulating energy. Because that's what magic is. It's about manipulating energy. Now, your job as a magician, an adept, a dark sorcerer, is to learn all the formulas, methodologies, and the processes to do that. That's your job. So this is why I've always taught for years, I don't teach banishing in the traditional way, because all energy is necessary. Whatever you're labeling it, good, bad. When people say they're banishing something, as I said, energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be manipulated. Where are you banishing it to? It doesn't make any sense. Okay? So, all energy, and this is what I teach, is productive, regardless of what you're classifying it as. Because whatever vibrational frequency you tap into, that's what you're going to classify it as. So, what I'm essentially saying is what people might label as something that is evil or dark or this or that is just a matter of how they're perceiving it. Okay? When we talk about the light side and the dark side and right-hand philosophy and left-hand philosophy, it's all the same essence, it's all the same thing, that they're just vibrational degrees of the same frequency. Okay? It's when one gravitates to the extreme to one side, then the other, this is where the individual becomes, quote unquote, disconnected. Okay? So I'm trying to get out of your mind these terms that have stamped these negative connotations in our subconscious mind when somebody says dark magic or black magic or sorcery or this, that, or the other. A simple way to grasp all this, regardless of how it's classified and how it's given titles, and whatever you read and what's being put on the internet and shit like that, at the end of the day, to keep it simple, it's about manipulating energy. So people don't understand what this path is about because they hear left-hand path, the occult and dark arts. It's crazy how many ignorant people think that anybody that makes claim to being affiliated with that type of work is a Satanist, right? And that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother debate. Oh, that's that Satanist stuff. No, it's not. It goes way beyond what you're calling those terminologies. Okay? So to simplify all the madness, just look at somebody who claims to be a magician, black magician, this, that, or the other. They're basically saying they've learned the art and science of how to manipulate energy. Okay? And remember, I told you this path I've said off and on over the years. This is a path, it's a spiritual science. Okay? There's a spiritual science to this path. And anybody that walks this path sincerely and walks this path with a great understanding of the path in themselves, this is the individual that gets raised up to a higher stature and is open to a high level of awareness. Okay? So, using that simplistic concept, okay, of manipulating energy, that keeps you grounded in the spectrum of things. It keeps you from going to Spookville, for lack of a better word, where unfortunately some people go and don't return. Okay? So I want to clarify that. A dark magician, a black magician, an adept, he or she has mastered the science of manipulating energy. It's with black magic. Now, I know through movies, TV, the media, the internet, etc., and you could Google it right now, you're gonna always get that negative definition, because, as I said, their job with these Wikipedias and dictionaries and references, their job is to go through places like the World Wide Web and control everybody's thinking. Now, notice I use the term, and it's not even used no more, even touched on. And we all know when we're on the internet, or you type something in your search engine, or you type something in on your homepage or your toolbar or whatever. Back in the day, it still comes up, but it's not necessary to type no more. But back in the day, you used to type in www. The website, .com or .net, whatever it was. The thing that's funny about that, okay, is going back, prior, when we were still using that term, the World Wide Web. And notice how I said they tried to control a lot of people by getting you into the World Wide Web. And you become trapped. It's like, look at a spider web. Sometimes a spider catches its prey, it gets caught in the web. So they told you from jump what they were getting ready to do when the internet and the World Wide Web became mainstream. Because its goal and its job is to trap you. Okay? So, very important that we understand that. Alright? So, regardless of the definitions you might get perusing the web, which you got to be careful, because there's a lot of good shit on there and there's a lot of bullshit. Let's just keep it real. Okay? But the goal and the job here is to remove the negative stereotype over what. Not every black magician sits around all day and is a raised up black magician and does works of destruction. As I said, black magic can be used for high forms of healing. Black magic can be used for different levels of forms of protection. And then, of course, black magic can be used for destructive purposes, no doubt. But my goal is to get you to see it's not only used just for that, because people think that's all it's ever used for. And that's incorrect. Okay? That's very incorrect. So the next time you're questioned on it, have the right explanation. And be clear, because what the naysayers like to do is twist your words around. And the next thing you know, they'll be saying something to somebody on the internet talking about, I asked this person a question, and they'll try to make you look bad. That's what they do. That's what people do. Okay? So, very important that we have the right definitions of what this stuff means. Okay? Very important. And I want to keep drilling home in your head the science of manipulating energy. Now, to the basic principles and understanding of what energy is. As we said, it cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed, it can only be manipulated. Okay? So this is why I always go back to the banishing thing. And this is why I say, if you look up the word banish, how do you banish energy? In essence, when you look at it at its core, you can't. So look at black magic as an individual who has opened themselves up to the multiverses and all the energy and frequencies and power that exist within it. So now you have the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, and the science of these dark arts, how to work with this energy. So this is why I say the banishing is no good, because depending on the type of work you're doing, there's going to be times where you need to draw some very aggressive and volatile, powerful warrior-like energy. Then you might be doing works, a high form of healing. Then you might have to tap into a whole nother vibrational frequency of energy, right? It just depends on what you're doing, and it just confirms the point that all of it is needed. You can't, it's just the more as I'm talking and I think about it, that Baniti9 becomes more and more dumb to me, in my opinion. Okay? So your job, through your studies and your research and your practice, is to become very familiar and recognize what type of spirits, deities, and energies that you need to work with to get the desired result or outcome that you're trying to achieve. It's that simple. Okay? And just a couple things I want to leave you with real quick before I wrap this short tutorial up. To really understand the mental aspect of this is why I always tell people, really go in depth in understanding those 7 Hermetic principles of Tahuti. All right, the Hermetic principles. In the Kabbalion, not the Kabbalah for maybe newer people watching, the Kabbalion by the 3 initiates, or what's known as the 7 Hermetic principles of Tahuti. The reason why I point that out is, as I've said in the past, when studying, say, Egyptian or Kemetic studies, everybody's always focused on Ma'at. Ancient master, Ma'at, it deals with balance. And as I've said before, the reality is you can't truly understand Ma'at until you master the 7 Hermetic principles first, because the 7 Hermetic principles gives you a thorough understanding of how your subjective consciousness works. Whereas, the laws of Ma'at are spiritual practices that govern your objective conscious or your objective realm. But that is a great foundational piece to understand how you go into your subconscious mind and activate the energy and the frequency that one needs to work black magic, sorcery. Okay, because those 7 Hermetic principles will explain a lot to you when you really probe and study and research them and get the breakdown on them. Okay? So all energy is needed as a magician, whatever you're classifying it as. I don't care if it's good, bad, happy, like whatever. And really, in essence, when people say, well, what's the difference between black magic or Wicca or Wiccan or light magic and dark magic and gray magic? Just the vibrational frequencies and degrees of it. Because I had sometimes come up a couple times. I had one time a person that says, isn't magic just magic? In essence, they're right. It is. But there's different vibrational degrees and frequencies of magic. The higher frequencies would be what we would call dark magic or black magic. The lower frequencies would be white magic or light magic. Okay? So that's where the variance comes in. So again, in essence, in theory, magic is magic. But there's a difference in the vibrational degrees of that magic. That's where the difference comes. So I think people that don't know, don't grasp that. They get a little bit confused. Okay? So these are things I want you to start understanding. If you're on this path and you lay claim to any one of those aforementioned titles that you say you're a black adept or a dark magician, a black magician, or whatever, I want you to be clear in your understanding, because most other people that are not familiar with it are not going to understand it if you don't have a good grasp and understanding of it. All right? So let's look at it. It's not, black magic isn't just about destructive works of evil. Okay? It's the science and the art of manipulating energy for a greater outcome in order for you to master yourself and manifest what it is you need and then later desire. All right? Hopefully this short tutorial helped. I could talk a lot more on this subject. I think I'll do a follow-up video to this, because there is some more I want to elaborate and touch on this, but I'm close to my destination. So we'll see if I remember. We'll do a follow-up on this, because I think there's a little bit more I want to probe here. Okay? But I can't right now because of the sake of time. All right, so other than that, hopefully this tutorial helped. Again, if you need to reach out to me, my contact email address, along with the direct link to all the social media pages, Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, Primordial Chaos 2 words on Facebook, and Primordial Chaos 3 on TikTok. You can connect with me there. The direct link for the Primordial Chaos podcast, my contact email address, and the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes. All that information and all of those links are in the description box of this video you're watching right now. All right, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk soon. Fertile blessings.